What's going on, my people? It's your boy Demarcus, and we back with a continuation episode. I've been having so many technical difficulties while I've been trying to record, but we here. So hopefully this goes through well. I don't know why it keeps cutting out on me, but it may be because I had to do some updates on my computer because I use a HP, which I love Windows and I love like Android stuff, even though I use Apple for work, and then I got my phone that's an iPhone, but I mean, I want to go back to my Android. It's so easy to FaceTime people, and I like being on a FaceTime visual and all that. But that's here nor there. Make sure you tap in with your boy on the social medias, the socials, the socialays, media pages, Instagram and TikTok is both that man Marco, and then mashing up with Marco, and then the YouTube page is Multifacets of Demarcus. And I wanted to continue on the story that I was talking about as far as for the keloid process. Now, I think I told y'all about me being in the procedure room, speaking to Dr. Jones about the social media, and I was supposed to get into the part about the radiation, but I wanted to also mention the piece about me after the procedure, like the swelling, and then also, catching the bus and sent back home. There's not really like a whole lot to say on that, but whenever you finish like your keloid procedure, my face was really swollen, and that's just going to happen because your face is numb. And then they also just did stitching and took out parts of your skin in order to revamp, to make sure the keloid is removed. So that's also taking part of your skin off and having to use other layers and bring it together with the stitching. So it's a lot of trauma and stuff that your skin has to deal with. And so that's when you finish the procedure, especially since it's local, again, you're awake the whole time. You end up putting on, they give you the instructions on what to do next. You put on your clothes and you get back to it. So I ended up taking the New Jersey Transit back home. I took the same route that I did in regards to the from Grand Central, and I took that all the way back to the crib. And speaking on that piece, I attested to just my resiliency overall, even what I had to do in the last couple of years, because it all works in tandem together. When you think about me getting up without barely any sleep off of 1 hour of rest, going to get the keloid procedure done, not even taking the Uber, because I ended up just by taking the train, it saved me almost $300. Do y'all know it was going to cost me $160 there and $160 back if I would have took the Uber? Man, that shit was outrageous. I ain't never seen no prices like that. And it can be crazy even going to the airports. That's why I often take the train. But I'm like, man, you got to be out your mind. My parents were even like, man, DeMarcus, you should take, a car there because it'll just be smoother and you ain't got to worry about everything else. And also, too, they ain't lived in New York. Like they never lived in New York, but they also don't see the city anywhere close to the way that I do. So they're obviously thinking like the most comfortable situation, the easiest transport, which is driving. But I'm like, you know what? I'm not about to pay that much amount of money. And then I know how the trains move. So I said, I'll be able to get there. And that's also due to my resiliency and how I move. Most people are not going to do that. They're going to fork it up to the game and probably pay that high price. But I'm like, I can't see myself spending $160 both ways. I guess that's outrageous. So whether you have it or not, there's just some things I'm just like, that don't make sense. But I still looked into it as far as the resilience mode that I've been in. That's even doper with my story. Barely got any sleep. Ended up taking the transit over to Jersey, getting the keloid surgery removed, and then coming back with the face swollen and everything and getting it done. Walked in the train station like it was nothing. The same process that I did at the previous surgeons by getting it done local. You know what I'm saying? But oftentimes, like, people are just not able to see the other steps that you went through. My parents weren't there when I got the procedures done local. So even when I got them done local at the other surgeons, I still had to hop on the train. I didn't take any Ubers. But again, that's just the mentality and how I've had to move, but also what shaped me. I'm like, that's part of my story right there. Then come back home that night, and then Wallow 267, he ended up having a webinar that was like an hour. And at first it was on my calendar, and I said, man, I don't know if I'm going to go to this. And then ended up going to the webinar. He had a raffle on there for his new books that he released. There's hundreds of people in there. Towards the end, he said, everybody put y'all's name in the chat. So y'all know on Zoom, whenever you put anything in the chat, unless it's automatically defaulted to host and panelists, it sends it to everyone in there. So as he said that, people spamming the shit out that chat, putting their names, and I'm like, let me get in my smart bag, let me control C my name, the control V it, and then just keep hitting enter. So my name was popping up like crazy, right? Literally probably like 10 seconds into that, I said, shit, let me be different. Let me go ahead and click the host and panelists so everybody ain't get my names. Only the host and panelists can see it. Boy, when I tell you I was clicking that so much, like going crazy on it, like da 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 da, like it took me a millisecond. Like I was just control C Ving, and then like in Zoom, like it don't have to be where it doesn't line by line. It'll just do it in a paragraph form. So I was stacking up a bunch of my names and then just hitting enter. But I was doing that shit until they said nobody else was going to win it. So he called off 5 names. That 6th one, DeMarcus George. I said, yeah, we got it. We got it. And so I even took a picture and a little bit of a video when everybody was doing that. And I was like, that's a dope part of my story, because even what he was talking about in regards to where he's gotten from to where he is now, when he was talking about his books, and especially the book that's talking about fuck them, that's what my mentality has been on for a long period of time. Not in a way where I'm holding any type of grudges or I'm jaded or nothing like that, but you got to really have a grit and dog in you, especially when you're going through adversity. When you're trying to get to that next level and life shaking up in a certain type of way where it shakes you to the core and you got to figure something out. Like I've had to get into that fuck them mentality, but within my spirit and my faith and how I'm driven, again, that doesn't ever put me in a position to sit there and hate anybody, or I can't say it hasn't put me in a position to hate anyone or nothing like that. I didn't want to say like you never hate anybody, because you can get to a point in life where something may happen and you have some hatred in your heart, but I don't have hatred, so I haven't been in any position to spread any type of hate or feel any hatred towards anyone. So I watch my words, because I don't want to come off saying never like it can't happen, but it's not happened to me. So, but the point that I'm making is with my faith, with my belief in God and my spirituality, like I'm locked in. So when you have that fuck them mentality, it's just like people treat you certain ways, people move how they do. No, you don't just let them, like he told Mel Robbins. It's like, fuck them. You got to keep it moving forward. I got to keep pushing through, because when I'm going through what I'm going through, people ain't there. People ain't, you know what I'm saying, checking in, tapping in. People moving in type of ways where they really on some lame shit, and then they putting time and energy into everybody else. And you see that. We feel that. I tied that same thing into like my keloid surgeries and all that, because this is an extension of all the stuff that I've been going through in the past years. It's another part of my story. So when I talk about how I was able to maneuver through New York and be able to level up, the keloid process is a part of my story, because I remember how it was during the last couple of years of being laid off, where you don't really got no money like that, when you're trying to better yourself and then you still got cosmetic things in the way, you're still trying to figure out your weight loss. All that is getting over the hump, or getting over that next milestone to get to your level of greatness. Keloids it's not necessarily been a hinder as far as even being able to do anything, but for looking my best version is something that's in the way. So by me being like, hey, I'm still getting through all these different things that others are going through, not really having, I ain't got nobody to hold my hand or kiss ass and be like, to make everything sweet and feel better. Like, nah, DeMarcus has had to move through this and figure this out. The keloid process has sucked. Acne and stuff sucked. When I was younger, all this has been terrible. But at the same time, I didn't let that be the version of me that was going to take over. No, the version of me was the one that was able to see past all that stuff, that was able to move through it even during days where I felt insecure, where I didn't feel attractive, where I felt hurt. I still had to move forward, because nobody else is going to be able to save me. Plenty of people could say they didn't see it. Plenty of people can say they didn't see it in the way that I did, or DeMarcus, you still look good. Don't let that bother you. People can say that, but it did, because there was also a lot of spaces where even the people that said that still didn't make me feel secure. It was a talking point for them. So the same way in which I took the resilience and how I had to go last year with the security work and all the applications and all that, I took the same way as far as me going to get the surgery. When I got done with the surgery, I'm walking out, I'm feeling like $1 million, even though my face was swollen and everything. Why? Because I know who DeMarcus is, but also I know where we're going to. I know this ain't going to be me for forever. But at the same time, Even if it's got to be me for a good amount of time or whatever, I know how valuable that I am and how dope that I am. And all the work that I put in is not going to let some motherfucking surgery or keloids on my face stop me. So yeah, I'm going into a little preachy mode, but I'm being real with y'all because I know the type of time and energy that I put into myself. I know how much I showed up for other people going through all these situations or whatever. And a lot of people ain't been here, but a lot of people have. There's some people that don't even know that I got a keloid surgery done, but they are all ones that would tap in with me. Hey, I just been on my own journey, been low key. So there's some friends that update when we talk, right? But there's some friends or people that was in my life that I don't need to tell stuff to because they wasn't even there during the other processes. I got other friends that was there when the other keloids and stuff were done. They living their life and doing their own thing. We're gonna catch up. But you got some people where they ain't never tapping in like that. Or they don't really care like they try to say that they do. But here's the thing. The real ones that's locking in with you, they're going to be there doing every part of the process. And even if they may miss something in the exact moment, when you do catch up, they're going to show love to the point to where they wish that they was a part of that. That's the people that I like in my life. Everybody got to live life and move in their own type of way. Somebody can't be with you every single moment of the day, but it's how do people respond when you tell them about you, when you give updates. Did they push it to the side like, oh, okay, it is what it is. You done got through it or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I know you could do it. You know what I'm saying? You that type. Or is it like, hey, DeMarcus, like, you a real one. You locked in. I know how that's affected you. You know, I commend your resilience. Like, I know that you got it in you because you've shown a lot. Like, that's different because you're talking to me in a way where it's like, I see what you've been doing based on what we talked about. I've seen some of the hurt that you may have had. You've told me about this. I knew that she's going to get through it because I've seen you be that motherfucker that was resilient. That's what I'm talking about. So when I showed up and got the keloids, man, I made my video. Y'all going to see the videos when the content starts rolling out. Man, I was like, hey, we getting this done. I could see, you know what I'm saying, on the train from my peripherals. I seen a couple people keep looking at me and staring at me, you know what I'm saying? Just kept staring. I stared right back at them, bumping my music, doing my thing, not even focus on nobody. Like if you literally in front of me or from a peripheral, keep like staring at me, I can literally see you. But then what happens? I look right at you. I stare right at you. I ain't got no commotion or nothing like that. I had one person literally sitting right in front of me, just kept like staring and staring. I look right at them, then they get intimidated. They start looking away. You got to be able to stand your ground. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I know how DeMarcus, I know the type of person that I've built myself into. That don't bother me. But ain't nobody going to sit there and be like, you minding your business, somebody just staring you right in your face and be like, bro, what's going on? But at the same time, like, a lot of people can't be out in person with like getting the surgery and stuff like I can. A lot of people want to hide from that. And hey, for some people, it can be very uncomfortable. Like, I can understand that. I can understand, like, you not wanting people to judge you and you feeling like, man, I don't want people to see this, but I don't give a fuck about that. I done went outside, and I've said it many times, I done shot shots at some beautiful women with the keloids on my face that hit many baskets. You know what I'm saying? Then had some beautiful women tell me when I had some fat keloids on my face and ears, Marcus, I don't even see that. Like, you still look fine. You still look good. Okay, and I appreciate that, baby. But I do feel, you know, in my own mind, I'm saying to myself, I do feel insecure about this, but I'm not going to let that stop me from being who I am. I'm not going to stop this from letting the other parts of me shine and show, personality and my other parts of my looks. So that takes a lot of courage and stamina because like the stamina is like you got to be able to just stay on your feet. That takes a lot of like you got to keep on going. That takes a lot of energy because energy can go up and down. The stamina's got to stay there because I can have days where I feel inspired and motivated, but if I ain't got enough stamina, then I ain't gonna really be on top of it like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying the same stamina as like you going to the gym and you got to keep up with like, you know, being able to be on a treadmill or elliptical for a long period of time. But this stamina is like a confidence type of stamina. You got to be able to keep on being consistent with it every single day. Because the minute that you get tired because you look in the mirror and you let one thing stop you, it's over with. Because that moment of you looking in the mirror and feeling as if you ain't nothing, that can ruin your whole week. Or the moment that somebody says something that's out of pocket or says something to you in a negative way, that can ruin anybody's self-esteem. but only if you let it though. So for how I've been able to move and even going through the surgery, I feel powerful because I know who DeMarcus is and the type of person that I built myself into. But also, it's bigger than me. Moving into the radiation piece, I told y'all when I was speaking to Deanne, it's black women is so dope, just great energy when I went in to get my radiation done. And she's telling me all these stories about people and their keloids. She said, DeMarcus, your keloids I know are tough to deal with, but man, there's people that done came in with pus coming out of the keloids in their head, and to the point to where like it stinks so bad that she gotta put on multiple masks or give them radiation. Some people they can't even give radiation to because it's so bad. Some people they never even have any type of solution for. People where it hurts them putting on clothes and everything because of their keloids. But we sitting in the room, she's even talking about her life and things that she's went through, like outside of this, things that she's experienced in the health space as a black woman, things that she's experienced in life that gives her joy to be able to show up and be a safe space for the people that come into her spot to give them radiation. Man, that's different. Similar with me, like as far as different things that I've went through, it's like every day ain't gonna be easy, but I know for a fact in me being here and me being able to show up, hey, there's a lot of things I could be pissed off about, frustrated about, but I continue to show up each and every day. So that radiation stuff for me, like it was therapy for both of us because we just sitting there just talking and having great conversation, but empowering each other as black men and women. As she was talking and telling me the stories, I'm like, man, you should have a podcast or something. And she, towards the very end, she's like, DeMarcus, you're one of my favorite patients that came in here. But you know why? Because even as I'm talking to y'all about the keloid stuff, in me going through whatever I'm going through, I still see other people. Like it's not just about me. Yeah, I'm the one going in and get radiation. Yeah, I'm the one dealing with keloids. But for you to be able to stand in my presence and be able to take time out of your day to do what you have to do, obviously because it's your job, but me knowing that you got other people that sit into this seat and they don't even know if they want to see tomorrow, that's powerful. By you being able to change somebody's mentality because they felt pissed off at you, they felt pissed off at the world to the point they want to cuss you out because they don't know if there's going to be a resolution. But by day 3, you made them feel great. That's impact, and that's beauty. That's beauty right there. That's love. And so by me being able to enable her to say, you know what, like you should do a podcast. You have so many dope stories, and us being able just to share that molds more into even one of my purposes and helping to enlighten those people that give to others. But you see how it goes full circle in all these episodes I've talked about. The more that I've grown into adulthood and continue to be able to evolve, I meet similar people to myself. She's older than I am, but when you think about the stories and when people talk about their lives and how they show up for people, I get that. I'm meeting more people that continue to put love and care into everybody else. And oftentimes, like the love and stuff that may receive back isn't going to be the same. I didn't really get to ask her about her friends and stuff like that, but that's beside the point. By me being able to see how she's showing up for people, I understood that. I've been in spaces where it's showing up for people, even now sometimes with keloids, when people's reaching out, like showing up for people and you don't even know if you have an answer for them. You know that you're not going to have an answer for them. But by the time that they leave a conversation with you, you at least were able to help them to feel good about themselves. That's a part of my purpose. And so by me being able to sit in the seat of somebody else doing that, what else is a part of my purpose? Letting them know that their purpose is bigger than what they're seeing it as. I told her, I said, you are helping people in the share, which is amazing, but imagine how far your voice can go if there's somebody out there that ain't got the money to get into your chair. Everybody ain't got the resources, nor do they got the damn money to be able to sit in the seat. She was even telling me about people from other countries, as I told y'all in the past episode, where they even got free healthcare. They've got to come over here because there's no system in place or doctors that can help them to get keloids or whatever removed. And in reality, some of their situations are so bad or cases are so bad, they need to be able to stay in the States for multiple days so they can be under certain care in case something pusses or in case something bad happens as far as from a reaction or whatever. Because by the time they get back home, it's going to be worse. So think about that, like people taking time out of their day um, to come and see you, but that's because they were able to even find a potential solution, even if they can't be serviced. But imagine the people that can't even get to the seat. Imagine the people that have no information because nobody was able to help them and they don't know how to help themselves. That's where we got to keep thinking about how our voice is even bigger and broader. And oftentimes it can be uncomfortable because there's even things that I do in regards to the food, even when it comes to speaking about my life and the podcast, the daily thoughts. I'll actually enjoy doing that stuff even more now because I learned how to create the authenticity with it. So by doing that, it's allowed me to be able to show up in a way that is very comfortable for DeMarcus, but that DeMarcus loves because I get to talk about me and keep it real authentic about that. I don't have to worry about somebody else trying to gatekeep or somebody else trying to hold me hostage or trying to make me, not say something or judge me off or whatever because that's what they feel. No, I'm doing it because that's how I feel. And so going through that radiation process, like it felt great because I was like, you know what? I'm having a great conversation, but I'm feeling some more hope that, hey, we can get this process taken care of. So you heard me kind of go into like just my resilience spiel, but I want to make sure that I tell you all about the radiation process. So what happens is you go up underneath the radiator, and it's kind of like this glass frame that they put on your face. But underneath that, they have like plastic wrap, and then they put the glass frame over top of that, and then they put the radiator on top of that. So I have to read some more up on it for why they do it in that particular way. But the machine runs for probably at least a couple of minutes. You don't feel anything at all. The only thing you feel as far as from it's just a glass plate on your face, and it's a bit cold because it's glass. It's been sitting down, but you don't feel anything as far as like radiation or whatever that's supposed to feel. You literally feel nothing. And so you sit in you go to radiation for 3 days, and Deanne was telling me that their radiation is different because it goes on top of the skin versus going inside of the skin. And when it goes fully inside of the skin, that can maybe spread to other places that it doesn't need to, in a sense, like expanding the keloid in some type of way. But their radiation, it goes on top of the skin, so it really just focuses on the areas that was removed versus other areas of the body. And again, I'll do my research and try to figure out a bit more, but I would love to do an interview with her. And again, Dr. Jones, to be able to go further into what does this process look like on the surface, and just kind of explain things that you've seen or however. So I will do that with my YouTube content whenever I continue to push to move that forward. But radiation went smooth. Lily did that for the 3 days after, and then I kid you not, like a few days later, which was early this week, is when the steri strips ended up coming off, and my healing looks really, really good. Part of my face is still swole. You'll see where the scar is, but what happens is over time, because of the radiation, the scar will end up healing on its own. Again, I can't do any type of strenuous workouts or anything for about a month. I got a few more weeks. I cannot wait to get back into the gym and lock back in, but man, the process was smooth. And it's just because, you know what, I said, let me go ahead and get it done. I didn't think too much about, like, at first I was going to wait to get the whole procedure done at the end of the month. I said, you know what, let me go ahead and knock it out. Lily was out of work for the week just because I wanted to rest and get back to just get away from everything. Came back this week, was a little bit foggy, but back to it, making my calls, making my emails and all that type of stuff. Lily closed the deal the first day that I came back into work. Lily finally got that signed, and we locked in. So I say all this to say that there was a lot that happened in the course of a few days, but the way in which I showed up for myself and went into the room to get the surgery done and then walked back home, took the train, however, the transit, then went and got the radiation done and created my videos, and I felt so liberated within that. I can't wait to drop the videos, hopefully to help other people, because the content feels so much more at home because I've been getting so many different angles that I didn't get before. I'm really glad in how I've been able to move these last couple of years because the content has felt more authentic, way more authentic. It feels way more real because I'm going in and not holding back. I'm allowing people to see parts of myself, but it's the same things in which I've been willing to show. And I've been able to, especially living on my own, it's allowed me to be able to get into a whole different space without a bunch of bullshit ass noise and a bunch of people that ain't on my type of wavelength. I got love for people and all that, cool. The ones that I lock in with, but I ain't got time for all the other type of stuff. And it's not even just living with certain folks. It's like that's just people in general. That's just we ain't moving in the same type of way. Like I can't be on that type of time anymore. And the people that rock with me, and the ones that I stay connected with, and the people that know about how the markets is moving, you will feel this. If somebody feel a type of way about any message that I have, that's on them, because if I've been really, really locked in with you, you will know. But that's why I create the life of a multifacet, because oftentimes people like us don't have spaces to be able to speak. But the resilience that DeMarcus has been through, man, I'll talk about it. I can go in more in depth in the next episode. I told y'all, as far as for the freaking security work and all that, I had to really, really lock in, you know? And so it's just about, like, you know, when you go through certain seasons, hey, certain people ain't going to be there with you, but you also got to look back and say, hey, was they really there with you in the first place? Think about it like that. So us getting through this keloid process, it's still a continued journey. Even though I got keloids removed last year, I'm back at square one. But hey, look at all the other parts of my body I was able to focus on. I look better than ever. I still got some work I need to do, but the spot that I'm in, I'm super thrilled, and it's still learning how to better ourselves. But just because you may have to tweak something, just because a keloid comes back, just because you gain a little weight, don't mean it's the end of the world. Because you got to look at the whole scope of where you're at and say, you know what? I'm not where I once was. I'm not anywhere close to that. Look how much that I've grown since then. Look at the other areas of my body that I focused on. Like, damn, I could barely even see this keloid compared to how I seen it when I was 50 pounds more, 60 pounds more. Like, I don't even recognize that individual. When I got down to what, 208 at my lowest, my most lean. I was 272 back in 2020. 64 pounds. Now, granted, I've been able to put back on some weight with the water and the creatine and all that, because I wanted to make sure my muscles were more full. But I got down to my leanest at 208, fasted and everything to get there. So when I started eating food that was destined to put back in some pounds and stuff back on. But watch her in a few months when I cut back down. Yeah, I'm going to weigh more than that 208, but how I'm going to look lean and built, it's going to be way different. So if you got anything from this podcast episode, I appreciate you listening to hearing about all the keloid steps, the procedure and stuff, and what I went through and all that. But hopefully you also got something about how you can utilize different areas of your life, and it goes into your resilience. It's all part of your story. Come on, it's all part of your story. My parents were like, DeMarcus, you sure you don't need somebody there with you? No, I don't. I love y'all, but it's going to be all good. Right? I'm not paying $320 to go back and forth. Like, we're going to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? I can get a little bit of exercise in, but I can also walk as I'm thinking about, you know, my process, thinking about the greatness that I'm instilling within myself, thinking about when I do get past this, how much more great I'm going to be, thinking about all the other keloid processes that I want. Like, sometimes walking, and I love walking. Sometimes walking and just like moving around, seeing the scenery, just seeing people and stuff, it gives you a different type of energy because you're standing tall. I'm seeing all the tourists and stuff move around, and I got this bandage and stuff on my face. I feel powerful. Why? Because I'm still showing up just like everybody else. I still put my clothes on and everything like everybody else did. But I had a mission today. The mission was being able to better myself and improve myself and push through without having to worry about being judged what somebody else thinks. Because some people are going to be there for the temporary piece and just see this version, but wait till I get to my even better version, my best version, when everything moving how I want it to. That version of DeMarcus is going to be on a whole different level. But it all started from me continuing to believe in myself and not letting anything else get into the way, or letting anybody else's opinion, or letting a downfall or letting a keloid come back stop me. All that, those embarrassing moments, all those times of feeling insecure and all that, we went through that for a reason. The reason could have been because maybe if I was younger, was eating better or whatever. There's plenty of different reasons it could have been. But I'm glad I went through it in the way that I did because it allowed me to understand how to show up for myself in other areas of my life. We got to be honest with ourselves and say, you know what, it couldn't be us. We got to hold ourselves accountable for why certain things happen. Hey, keloids and stuff is genetics. There's no way to stop that, right? But that don't mean that I can't work out and work on other areas of my body. That don't mean I can't look and feel my best self just because I got a keloid there. Like, we got to work on some other shit and figure that out. So what I'm going to do, just let one thing stop me and be the overarching thing for why I can't move forward? Nah, we got to put that work in and get it done. So it's your boy DeMarcus. This was a very passionate episode. I did not even intend for it to get like this, but I just speak from so much energy and just so much excitement because I get a chance to help other people, but I'm also looking at myself constantly growing each and every day. And the version that I am now has evolved so many times from the version that I was when I was 18, 15. And many times I didn't have any type of answers, nor did people have answers for me. It was me figuring out a lot of shit. In all the moments where people didn't listen to the opinions or didn't listen to the information I was willing to give or wouldn't allow me to show up in the ways in which I knew how to, now I got people that allow me to do that. And then there's people that are doing it for me. And now I can create a platform and create avenues where people are willing to hear my content because people are appreciative of having a DeMarcus in their life. But it all started with me. So shout out to everybody that's tapped in. Make sure, again, you follow me on the social medias. That man Marco on Instagram and then TikTok. Mashing up with Marco on both. And then the Multifacets of DeMarcus on YouTube. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, pass this on to your friends. And yeah, man, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. So it's all love. Wishing everybody well. If you are struggling with any type of insecurity, especially with your skincare, I'm not going to say I can relate to each and every situation because there's no way that I can. Some situations are way worse than what I went through. But what I can say is just because people ain't there, people ain't rocking with you, whatever, there's people out there that will. I'm one of those people. If people try to shun you for how you look or make you feel a type of way, they ain't your people. This is why I created this podcast, though, because I get it. I know how it feels to be on the outside. But when you come out on top, it's different. It's your boy DeMarcus. We up out of here. Peace.